All right, team. We are up and running. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, the founder and CEO of GAR Capital, here to talk about the markets, what's happening in the morning, headlines, all that good stuff, and of course, your questions. Glad to be with you. This is your first time here. Make sure to like and subscribe to our videos on YouTube. If you're enjoying us on our Instagram Live, appreciate that. Make sure to hit that follow button and that like button. Let's go ahead and get started. Just a heads up. I am in Central Florida, so we do have a hurricane barreling towards us. Hurricane Milton, we're watching it. Good news is that GAR Capital is not just one person; it's a whole team, and they're not all in Florida, so that's a good news. So with that being said, operations will stay the same. If you do not hear from me in terms of the morning note and all that stuff, obviously, no morning note on Thursday, possibly maybe even Friday. So again, depending on how severe the storm is, hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. But here we are, ready to go. Dow futures are up 68 points. Excuse me. Nasdaq's up 73. The S&P is up 21, and the Russell is up 0.13%. If you're wondering why I didn't do a video yesterday in terms of the morning note, we did a video on Sunday on YouTube. That was recapping and previewing this upcoming week. So if you want to go and take a look at that, check that video out. Probably have some of your questions answered. 10-year Treasury yields 4.041 this morning. Dollar index is up 0.11. The VIX is above 20, but it is down today 2.87% at 21.99. Crude oil pulling back nearly 2%, 75.60. Gasoline futures are down 1.82%, $2.11 gasoline in wholesale. 26.65 for gold, that's flat. Silver is down 1.7%. In Forex land, what stood out here, euro dollar's flat, dollar yen is flat. Aussie dollar is down 26 pips. Bitcoin is down 1.4%, and Ethereum is down 0.53% on the futures contracts. All right. First thing I want to bring up here is Alibaba. And the reason I'm bringing it up because China stocks fell overnight about 6% when there was word of less than, I guess, expected or less than wanted stimulus. So you can see here, state planner lays out further actions to boost economy, but no new plans for major stimulus. That's bringing out Alibaba today. 117.52 is the close. We're now at 109.30. I had a question yesterday on the chats regarding FXI and Alibaba, if we should get in. And the concern I had was that we're really dependent on what the China central bank or economic minister would say in regards to any kind of stimulus or continued stimulus. And that's exactly what happened. We're so beholden to that. And since we didn't get what we wanted in terms of traders, you can see that we're getting a pullback this morning. Take a look at the hourly chart. There's a gap down here now to 109.35. Keep in mind, we're at 117.52 just yesterday's close. So if you go to the daily again, you could see 121.30 being pretty much its high for the past 52 weeks. We filled two gaps. We have two gaps now below. What I'm looking for here is if we get additional weakness, we're below 110, so I'm watching that very closely. But if we can get around to 106 or so, I'm going to put an alert there. If we get to 106, maybe not happen today, maybe happens, staggeredly in a couple of days. I want to go ahead and short here to 97.47. There is a gap fill here. That's the 20-day moving average. You can see how overbought on the RSI Alibaba is now. Again, this will pull back. This RSI will be reset with this big drop of around $8 per share. So again, I'm keeping an eye on Alibaba and see what we get. That'll definitely be on the watch list or on our watch list moving forward. Microsoft. Yesterday, I was looking at puts. I talked about this on the watch list as well and in our video on Sunday. You could see now we're below the 200-day. Was looking for below 410 to get into puts, but I waited for 409. And again, the only reason is I don't want them to bounce me. So if I'm going to go short. So 409 breaks, which about 36 cents away. I'm looking for the 400 puts for next week. That's what I'm looking for. You have as much as downside support is around 386. That would probably be the best level to buy the stock. But again, you still have about 28 bucks left to go. $25 left to go in terms of catching that. 15, yeah, just about $24 left until that point, and that would be a nice discount. Again, it's still October. October is seasonally weaker, as we know, so we might get additional weakness just depending on headlines, the Fed, CPI on Thursday. We got a lot on the board, but Microsoft is something that I'm watching. We went ahead and traded AMD yesterday. It is up pre-market. Take a look at the daily. You could see this downward channel, very similar to Tesla that we talked about. It is broken above. It has settled above it for 2 days now. Well, 1 day yesterday, and now we're above it. Looking for 174.32. That is the target. That is your gap fill from July, and we're looking to fill that. That will not be the last time that we do trade AMD. We're looking for 185 to break. Once it does, then we got this gap fill here at 205.61. Speaking of Tesla, let's take a look at it. Tesla still has that double top here, still holding that support around 235.47. That's what we're looking for. We're right below the 20, but again, we're watching that closely. If we break above 265.58, we do got a gap to fill here at 290. We can play calls. If we start breaking down a little more, maybe below 230 or so, we can start looking at 215s to 225 puts on Tesla this morning, or well, when it happens. Let's take a look at Google. I do have some Google calls, and you can see just sideways action. Not much going on here. We had a headline regarding some EU. I think it was some EU search results kind of issue that they're having. Could be a possible inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, you have your left shoulder, you have your right shoulder, and you have your head on the 4-hour chart. If we can hold above 165, which we are currently, we're expecting, or at least I am, above 170. And then we got this 100-day moving average of 171.91 or 172, let's just call it. That'll be our target in terms of resistance. But if we can break above that, Google, this will not be the last time that Google's on the chart or watch list and charts. 183.52 is a gap to fill as well. So we got plenty of gaps to target for more upside for some stocks, and we'll be watching that very, very carefully. NVIDIA, we went ahead and traded NVIDIA yesterday. Well, we traded it over the weekend, and you could see it was a great trade. We had the 125 calls, holding from last week. Yeah, the October 11, 125 calls. Had a great day yesterday. Got as high as 130. I was looking for the 130 calls as well to get in, but we had that event, the NVIDIA event that was going on. Didn't want any issues in terms of possible pullbacks or reversals. We got it once, so if we wanted to go and trade this again, we're looking for 131.35. That'll break the August highs. Again, we're about $2 away, let's just say, or a little less than that. And then we'll target 135 calls. So we'll just keep going higher. Let's see what the RSI looks like here on the daily. Not yet overbought yet. You could see this triangle breakout looking absolutely nice. That is exactly what we're looking for on NVIDIA. 131.35. If we can break that, then I will take a look at the 135 to 136 strike price for calls. So we got some stuff set up here. See if I can close this out. Edit studies. Get this removed. Go from there. So yes, NVIDIA is definitely on the watch list. You can see how bundled. Let's see. Remove study. Yes. And there we go. Looks a little better on Tesla. Let's go and take a look at NASDAQ futures and the futures market together while we're here. And you can see NASDAQ pretty much a sideways action. A lot of this is chop. I drew a quick trend line here, and you can see that we broke below it right around the 2 o'clock hour. We consolidated for about another, let's say, 6 hours. Nice pop, but rejecting the 50 MA on the 1 hour. Break 105. We could see if we get a little more continuation. But for now, looks like slop. Like again, we do have a hurricane coming to Florida. Florida is a big part of GDP in the United States. I think it's probably the fourth, if not the third most populous state in the United States. So getting hit with any kind of hurricane, let alone a 3, a 4, oh my God, a 5. I mean, it's absolute devastation. If anyone remembers Hurricane Katrina hit in New Orleans. So again, it's all about wait and see approach. Could that affect markets? Absolutely. Absolutely. Insurers, it'll affect infrastructure there as well. Tourism, tourism is a big deal in Florida. So, keep an eye on Disney as well. We'll see if anything changes there. But anything here, no, just pretty much a sideways action as well. And you can see on the daily, we're right near the 20. So nothing that really stands out to me in terms of kind of trading the news out there. One big piece of news is Roblox is down. Pre-market, Hindenburg released a short call on Hindenburg, on Roblox. So they took a short position. You could see it's down nearly 9.81%. Now let's go ahead and take a look here. Now we talked about this key level here, right? Remember, We were talking about this breakout of this channel. It rejected again. We were here at what, 47? We rejected it there, got to 41. Now we're down to 38. So you could see Roblox is pretty much, guys, dead money since December of 2021. So until we break above, let's say at least 53.39, there is nothing to do here in terms of Roblox at this moment, in terms of the stock. If you look at the 1 hour chart, you can see how down it's gone. That's sort of the 4 hour chart. Anything in terms that's standing out, not yet at the April lows, but breaking down. We'll see if this is just initial reaction with a very thin trading volume. It is pre-market, so we will see. Let's take a look at S&P 500 futures. Again, sideways action. 57.17 is my support. When you're about 1% away from all-time highs, I mean, any little move is not going to be that big of a deal either. And we're bouncing off the 20-day moving average on S&P. So watching that very, very carefully. But as the week goes on, as the hurricane intensifies, as more alerts come out in terms of the weather, things may shift in terms of the market. That might be a little bit of a concern for the VIX. We will see as we go. That's really the only thing I could say on there. And I'm not a meteorologist or anything, so I'm just hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. Let's take a look at Micron together. And you could see here, around 115 is what we're looking for a breakout. It's pretty much just consolidating here. Not much to go by here on Micron, so I'd skip it. Hey, good morning. Yes, staying safe here. Shutters are up, ready to rock. FCX, I think you asked about that yesterday. And again, we pulled back this morning from 50.79 to 49, so it is down pre-market. We do have a gap down here. I talked about Alibaba. You could see we talked about how overbought it was. Let's take a look at FCX. FCX and FCI are two different things. My bad. I thought I was reading FXI. That's all the questions I've been getting. FCX is a copper company. Remember that. We've traded that before. Above 54.31, that's what I'm looking to go long, but you could see possible double top RSI overbought action. So unless we get interest rates to fall, yields, and the dollar to come down, I think FCX and commodities are going to be a tough trade because right now the market is not sure with that labor report that we had on Friday if we're going to cut rates a little more, if we're going to get that 25 basis point cut in November. If we do, then yes, commodities will go higher. Babo, to add for the long term, let's see it. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for this gap here around 100, 96.72. That's pretty much what you're looking for. Again, oversold, overbought, stimulus, all that good stuff. It rocketed higher, rejecting 121. Let's see if it pulls back. Good morning, Carlos. There is a gap to be filled at 474, 478. Was it 474 to 478? I don't know what time frame you're looking for that gap. If you're talking about the rollover gap, that's probably on NQ. But I don't see any gaps here that need to be filled on QQQ as of yet. Let's see in NASDAQ. No, I don't see any kind of gaps to fill on NASDAQ either. So it might be a shorter time frame what you're looking at, maybe the 1 hour or so, but I don't see any kind of gap to see at 474 at all. At least I don't. Let's take a look at Google calls. Yeah, it's bouncing pre-market. Really 165.53 is kind of that line in the sand that I've been waiting for. That was the breakout. Like I talked about earlier, you have your left shoulder, you have your head, you have your right shoulder. If we can hold 165, we are going to move higher. But in terms of target, we're looking at right around 172.02. If that breaks above, that's the 100-day. We're looking for this gap to fill at 183.45. Alphabet / Google, this will not be the last time that we trade it. We traded it the week before, and we just didn't have enough time on that one. Hit 30% in reverse. So I still like Google for more upside. It is setting up for that inverse head and shoulder. The question remains, does it hold? Let's take a look at crude oil this morning. Yeah, I mean, look at the daily. Just pretty much just choppy, rejecting the 200-day, rejecting this downward triangle. So nothing really stands out here. I mean, yeah, Exxon has been on fire, but with these Israel and Middle East conflicts with Iran, that's going to be a big volatile mover on crude oil. So I think best bet here is just kind of sit on the side because we don't know what's going to happen in terms of headlines. And then you have the Gulf of Mexico being offline for oil production with the hurricane in the Gulf. So So many things that are thrown at to crude oil. We also have crude oil inventories today. So tomorrow at 10:30. So just be careful there. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft I talked about this morning. We were looking at that level of around, what is it, 409 for a breakdown. We're about 40 cents above it. Again, you can see this very well-defined upward channel, but it is breaking down. It's below the 200-day. Really looking for 400 here, but maybe possibly 385. See if we have any other questions here I can check out. Why do you guys not use options correctly? Just buying naked calls and puts. Those are just signals, my man. This is from Supreme Crypto or Creepo on Instagram. When it comes to signals, understand that, we don't know everyone in terms of the members. Buying naked calls and naked puts is the easiest approach to trading for options. Can't just signal sell covered options and covered puts. We don't know if our members even own shares. So really the covered calls and covered puts and futures and stuff is just to make things easier for our members. Yes, there's many ways to skin a cat. There's many ways to trade. But in terms of signals, that is probably the easiest way to do it. That's all. It wasn't any specific way not to help people trade a certain way. It's just that is the easiest approach to go by. In terms of crude oil is down about 3% this morning. Again, I already responded to that. My fault. So there's Microsoft there. All right, team. That's where we are. So again, I just want to give my apologies to the members. I went ahead and wrote this down on our Market Watch channel. And I said that if I don't get to your questions right away, it's really just getting hurricane prep. Got to go to the ATM, get some cash. You never know. Got to get a couple of buckets. Got to get a couple things, just last minute things for the house. Since tomorrow evening the storm will be coming. I do have extra chargers. I have pretty much all the preparations I need just in case the power goes out. I'm the type of guy who likes to work regardless. So, if we are fine in terms of the storm and nothing happens, then we're back to where we are. Nothing really changes. But if things do get ugly, again, of course, we have other members of our team who are willing to help. So Gar Capital's not closing or anything like that due to the storm, but we will keep you up to date with any kind of developments as well, because we have a lot of members that are from Florida as well. So that'll be on the Gar Live Market blog. Any changes, we will let you know as always. Thank you guys for your patience. Again, thoughts and prayers for everyone in the Florida area, especially Tampa, Clearwater area. Got some friends over there. Some of them evacuated, so that's good news. But in terms of what's happening out there, again, we don't know. So we just have to wait and see. And again, like I said before, we're just hoping for the best, guys. So we'll see what exactly happens, how this will affect. Hopefully this storm turns around, doesn't come our way or what have you. But again, it's important to stay prepped for anything that could happen. Thank you so much, Dylan. Thank you guys to everyone who said positive messages and wishes. Again, nothing has happened. This isn't my first rodeo in a hurricane. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. We had Hurricane Andrew in the 90s. That was total devastation in Homestead and south of Kendall. So, life goes on. Again, just hoping for everyone to be safe. But please take the necessary precautions if you're in the state of Florida. The market is not going to go anywhere. All right. So just make sure to take care of the things you got to take care of. Get your affairs in order. And like I said, we're just hoping for the best, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning note. I'll catch you guys on the Discord server. Still have a job to do, baby. The day ain't over. The day's just beginning. Let's make it a great Tuesday. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, we're going to do the best we can today to make as much money as we can for y'all today. Have a great rest of your morning. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.